All right, guys, just got done with the maintenance on this motor. Everything's running great. It's still a beautiful weekend outside, so I thought I would spend a little extra time. I'll take the boat back out on the water and do some prop testing, because some of you guys have been asking me about props and the types of props and the selection process and various things. So I'm going to kind of go through what I've done in the various 3 different props that I've tried on this boat, and then one that I've sort of dialed into that works best for me. But a lot goes into prop selection. It's not an exact science. It's sort of an it depends situation. It depends on the use case, what type of performance you're trying to get out of it, whether it's a whole shot or top end, and of course weight plays a role, hull type plays a role, and just a bunch of different things that you need to consider. And truthfully, you're just not going to get everything out of one prop. You'll have to pick sort of the happy medium, is sort of what I ended up doing. And I think, for the most part, I'm pretty happy with what I've selected and what I use most of the time. So I do have some extra props, but it's okay. And if something goes wrong with one of the props or I hit something, I can always swap that out. But let me flip this video around. We're gonna go on the bench. We'll take a look at some things, but before we do that, we're gonna take a look at the hull and show you that a little bit, and we'll also take it out on the water and show you live time, sort of a prop swap and live on the water how those props perform. All right, guys, starting at the front of the boat. This is a Triumph 1700 Skiff. It is it's kind of got a bull nose on it, and it's sort of mainly a flat bottom. It handles like a flat bottom, but it does have a little bit of roundness to it on the bottom here. But it is a product, or made out of a product called Ropaline. It's a little heavy. It's about 1,400 pounds. And of course, they don't make these anymore. They're pretty tough boats. Great little boat, just running around, and you can scratch them up and easy to repair. But I've got a trolling motor up there, as you see. I've got 2 batteries down here let's see, they're lithium batteries, so they're about 30 pounds each. That's 60 pounds plus an anchor up here as well. And there's really, I don't have any water in the live well, and just a little bit of weight in the console itself. Cooler is empty, and there's one fuel tank. It's a 9-gallon fuel tank that's mostly full, and then there's another one that goes over here usually. But for testing purposes of this prop testing, I'll just keep it real simple with 1 tank, and for the most part, everything else stays on the boat. So on the back here, I do have some smart tabs. So those really help out with, trying to get a better hole shot when you're fishing shallow. And of course, having the right prop selection. As you see, I've got the prop off there, but having the right prop selection is key to fishing shallow and trying to get a great hole shot when you're in those areas when you need to get up and out of there. But the smart tabs will keep in the up position for testing purposes. I've got little brackets there. Both of them are in the up position right now. So let's jump over here on the bench, take a look at the props, and we'll go from there. So I got the props on the bench. I've got my books out here. I'm not sure if I mentioned it, but this boat has a 8-foot beam, and it's 1,400 pounds. So again, like I said, it's got a little bull nose to it, so it handles like a flat bottom, typical skiff would. The motor, it's 377 pounds, and of course with, I sort of broke it down here real simple. So the boat's 1,400 pounds dry, motor's set 377 pounds dry. Calculated and figured in equipment, fuel, and 1 person, you're looking at about 500 pounds ish. So we're looking at 2,300 pounds for the testing that we're going to do on this boat with 1 person. So this is the prop that came with the motor. It's a 19 pitch prop, 13-inch 19 pitch prop. You can probably see that. Aluminum 3-blade, does pretty good. And something else to note here, just so you know, this motor full throttle range is about 5,000 to 6,000 RPM. So that's the range you're trying to shoot for when you do some prop testing. So this one here performs at the low end of that range, right at 5,000 RPMs. And this is a Solas 17 pitch prop, 13-inch 17 pitch prop. And this one performs somewhere in the middle, so between 5 and 6. And this one here is a 15-inch or 15-pitch prop, 13.3-inch 15-pitch prop, and that is performing at the higher end of that range, again up to the 6,000 RPM mark. So you have to pick something, and you have to choose the best prop that's going to work for you. I ended up choosing the 17. The 5,000 RPMs didn't really maximize performance. It doesn't give me a great hole shot, but the 17 gives me a better hole shot, sort of the mid-range. Doesn't doesn't max out the RPMs, but it gives me a nice, I can run full throttle at about 32 miles an hour. And then the 15-inch prop definitely is a little screamer, and that thing jumps you out of the water a lot faster than the other ones. These two are very close. As far as top end performance, they're right on, almost identical, if not identical. But as far as hole shot, it's definitely going to get you out of the water faster. This is just sort of the happy medium. So again, it's an older motor, so I'm wanting to, if I do run wide open throttle, I'm not really stressing the motor at the max range of those RPMs. So let's jump out there on the lake, take a look, and I'll show you live what that looks like. All right, guys, before we get out on the water, I'm gonna go ahead and put that 19-pitch prop on here, the aluminum one, which is right there. I did want to talk about some of the parts that come with these props. Right here is a thrust washer, and that goes on like that. Of course, you see all the grease under there. Keep that all greased up. When I bought my Solas props, I did buy a kit, and I keep this as a spare on the boat, so it's got all my extra old parts in there as a spare in case I lose something. But you should have your thrust washer on first. Put your prop on. Go on like that. And again, this is an older prop. Put your top washer on. Got all that grease on there from the maintenance. Put your castle nut on. And you should be able to tighten that down. I'll say hand tighten it, or maybe just a little bit more than hand tight, just to get those the holes lined up with the sides of the nut there. And let's see if I can do that. So I can put a wrench on there, probably tighten that down just a little bit more, and then be able to slide in that cotter pin. So that's what we'll do next, and we'll hit the water. Out here on the lake, we're going to do a little prop testing today. I'm going to start off with my 19-inch prop as I showed you guys on the bench. Then I'm going to probably go to my 17 and then my 15. We've got my GPS there. We'll be looking at that for speed, and we'll be checking out the RPMs as well. So, all right, let's get started. All right, so we got our 19-pitch 3-bladed aluminum prop on here, and we're going to see what this thing can do. Keep an eye on our GPS and our tack. See what it can do here. Clear ahead, going with the wind. A little bit of bow rise, normal for this prop. Pushing right at 4,900 RPMs-ish, 5,000 RPMs. We get about 31 miles an hour out of that. Right at 5. 31 and a half-ish. All right, let's get the 17 on here, and we'll see how that does. All right, we got our 17 on here now, and we took off our 19, so let's get started. All right, we got our 17 on here, and let's see how she performs. With the wind here, get over these waves real quick and I'll get on it. Throttle, definitely a better hole shot for sure. Way better performance coming out of the hole. I'm looking at about 52, 53, 55, somewhere in there. 32 miles an hour, 32 and a half. gained a little bit there and then gained a little bit there. So yeah, it's screaming a little bit more than with the 3-bladed prop. All right, so let's get our 15 on here and see how it does on that one. All right, we took our 17 off and we've got our 15 on here now. So let's test this one out and see how it does. All right, we got our 15 on here now. So let's see how this thing does. Way more spunkier for sure. All right, we're looking at close to 6, 32 and a half. Not much difference between that and the 17. But a little more grind on the motor. Way spunkier in the whole shot. So definitely a big difference between the aluminum 3-bladed prop and the 4-bladed 17 and 15 pitch props. They definitely, 17 and 15s definitely gets you out of the water faster. So yeah, so that's it. I think sort of a toss-up between the 17 and 15, to be honest with you. But I think we can. I like going with the 17 because it doesn't run the RPMs up too high. It's sort of the happy medium again. So yeah, and again, all 3 of those props were tested at about this trim level. This is about the right trim level for getting the best performance out of this boat. So all right, that's it. We'll call that success.